Today I'm going to demonstrate how to make Rice Krispie treats. Before we begin, I'm going to put together all of our equipment and ingredients that we are going to need. This is a term used in culinary a lot called mise en place, which means everything has a place and everything is in its place. In order to help ensure the success of making a recipe, you will want to make sure that you have everything you need before you start. So I'm going to take a look at my recipe. I'm going to make sure that I have my ingredients first, and then I'll go through the directions and make sure that I have all of the equipment that I need. The first ingredient that I need is 3 tablespoons of margarine or butter. If I'm using a stick of margarine or butter, there are markings on the margarine or butter which show tablespoons. So I will want to just use a sharp knife to cut off the 3 tablespoons when I'm ready to measure it. The next ingredient that I'm going to need is 4 cups of marshmallows. I have taken a bag of marshmallows and put it in a bowl to make it a little easier on myself for measuring for this demonstration. In order to measure that, I'm going to want a 1 cup dry measuring cup. This is a dry measuring cup. The glass or plastic ones that are taller and have a little lip on them are only for liquids. You'll want to use a 1 cup dry measuring cup. And then I'm also going to want a spatula, a leveler. I could even use the backside, flat side of a knife. And then I'm also going to want a spoon in case I need to spoon any of the ingredients in. And then I will want a bowl to put those marshmallows in. And then the next ingredient that I need is 6 cups of Rice Krispie cereal. So I have that again here in a bowl just to help me with my demonstration for you guys today. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a bowl. You can measure it from your box. For that, I'm going to reuse the same 1 cup measuring cup. And then I will use that spooning leveler if I need it. And then I just need a second bowl to put those Rice Krispie treats in. So now I'm going to scroll down in my recipe to look at the directions. So the directions say, in a large microwave-safe bowl, I'm going to heat the marshmallow and the margarine on high. This is the bowl I'm going to be using for my large microwave-safe bowl. It just needs to be something that's glass or plastic, something that's microwave-safe, that does not include metal. It says to be sure to cover the bowl. If you have a microwave cover, you can use that to cover your bowl, or you can use a paper towel. That way, just in case the butter explodes or the marshmallows explode, it'll be a little bit easier for you to clean. Then it says to stir until smooth and marshmallows have melted. And so I'm going to use a rubber spatula to stir that. And then it says to add the rice cereal, stir it again, just use that same spatula. Then it says to place a piece of parchment paper or wax paper in a pan. So this is parchment paper. This will help the rice cereal from sticking to your pan to make it a lot easier to clean. And then your recipe doesn't specify what size pan to use. That's because it doesn't matter. If you use a bigger pan, you're going to have, a more wide and shallower Rice Krispie treat. I'm going to use this pan, which is a 8x8 inch pan, and I'm going to set that parchment paper in there and set it aside. Okay, now I am ready to begin cooking. Now that I have my mise en place, everything is in its place. So the first ingredient that I'm going to measure, and I'm going to set my utensils aside, is my 3 tablespoons of butter. So I'm just going to use a sharp knife and just cut through the paper wrapping and then unwrap this. I do want to mention while I'm doing this that I did already wash my hands. You wash your hands with warm soapy water for 20 seconds to make sure to kill any bacteria or germs on your hands. I have placed that butter in my large microwave-safe bowl. If you have just tub butter and not sticks or margarine, tub margarine, you would use a 1 tablespoon measuring spoon And what you would want to do with that is kind of use the tablespoon to scoop it out till it's overflowing, and then use the back of a knife or a frosting spatula to level it off. And you would need 3 of those. So far I have my 3 tablespoons of butter is what I'm using, but you can use margarine as well. Next, I'm going to need 4 cups of marshmallows. So proper measuring techniques is I'm scooping the marshmallows in. I can use a spoon if needed. And then I'm going to use that spatula or leveler to level them off. Okay, and so I need 4 of those. So I'm just going to take a minute and measure them. And now I'm going to measure my rice cereal into a separate bowl. The rice cereal does not get added to the marshmallows and the margarine until they're melted. So I'm going to come over here, scoop till overflowing, level it off, nice and level, and I'm going to do that 6 times. Now I have all of the ingredients that I'm going to need to make my Rice Krispie treats. I'm going to microwave my marshmallows with my margarine or butter in there on high. Microwaves are automatically always set to high, and so you'll just set it for 1 minute and then make sure you cover it and then come back. Okay, I have microwaved my marshmallows and butter for a minute, and so I'm going to go ahead. It's not going to actually look like the marshmallows and butter melted very much, but once you start stirring them together, you'll see that they have started melting. And as that butter or margarine gets mixed in, it'll turn more and more soupy. Depending on the wattage or the strength of your microwave, you may need to go for a little bit longer than a minute. I actually have a pretty small microwave because we had to just put a small one in our pantry in the above our stove. I got rid of the microwave out there. So I am going to go ahead and I want it to be a little bit more soupy of consistency, so I'm going to go ahead and put mine back in just for about 20 seconds. As you can see, now I have achieved a more liquidy consistency with my marshmallow and margarine mixture. And so now I'm going to just slowly be adding in my rice cereal that I've measured out, the 6 cups already. I'm just going to add a little bit, start working that in. Once I've stirred it all together, I am ready to go ahead and put it in my pan to cool. And so again, I have my pan here with my parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper at home, you could even use foil. If you don't have that either, you could use cooking spray or even wipe it with a little butter or margarine, just so it helps it not stick to your pan to make it a little easier to clean up when you're done. Go ahead and just scrape all of that yummy goodness out and then press it into your pan. You can use your rubber spatula or spoon, whatever you're using to do so. You can actually take any extra of your parchment paper to kind of get it off the spatula. And then you can also use, tear that off. use that piece of parchment paper so it doesn't stick to your hands to flatten it out. And then you'll want to let it cool for about 5 or 10 minutes, just until it sets up. If you're in a hurry to eat it, you can throw it in the refrigerator for a few minutes to help speed it along. After you have allowed your Rice Krispie treats to cool, you can actually just use the parchment paper, pull them out of the pan, and then they'll be fairly easy to cut, so you can just use a butter knife to do so. And there you have your final product.